Very good morning to all my dear students, my dear friends, and the viewers. I am Professor Ashwati Fuljale, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Welcomes you all for the online lecture of machining process, a subject from 4th semester Mechanical Engineering. Today we are talking about the grinding machine. The grinding machine is an important part as far as super finishing is concerned. Generally, with the help of grinding machine, we are removing fractional quantity of material from the surface of the workpiece. And whenever we are removing the fractional quantity of material from the surface of the workpiece, then we term all those processes as super finishing operation. As the workpiece is being machined, and after machining the material is being removed now, but in grinding machine the material removed is in the form of dust, in the form of powder, though, but still the material is being removed in the form of chips. That is why it is categorized under the machining processes, right? Now, grinding machine can be explained with the simple processes like filing that student usually performs in their first and second semester. Even though the sandpaper or generally we call the emery paper are being generally used in the domestics for a smoother surface, in order to achieve smooth surface, whether it may be a metallic surface or a wooden one. If there is rusting onto certain part of metal, with the simple rubbing of emery paper we can remove that rusting. Now if you could observe the emery paper, very fine grains are being adhered onto the surface, right? Those small particles do actually perform grinding operation. That is why I gave an example of grinding machining, a mechanics before the grinding machine, right? Now enter into the actual grinding operation. The grinding process, as we discussed earlier, it is a surface finishing operation generally used to perform super finishing operations onto the workpiece. Grinding, it is those super finishing operation where very thin layer of material is being removed in the form of dust particles, right? Very fractional quantity of material is removed, right? Generally grinding is performed at the end of most of the machining operations, and the thickness of material removed is in the range of 0.25 to 0.5 millimeter. The tool used is an abrasive wheel. Now in the next slide you will see a peculiar type of grinding machine, most commonly used, most commonly found in any of the workshop, in any of the industry, right? Wherein you can observe two wheels, two on right hand side and one on right hand side and another one in the left hand side. It is generally called as a pedestal type of grinding machine. Those two wheels actually performs the grinding operation. As you can observe, one of the wheel is a little bit thin. The right hand side wheel is a little bit thin, whereas the left hand side wheel is little bit thicker one as compared with the first one. And of course their particles or the abrasive being adhered are of different composition. Now generally what happens, those wheels rotates at their position and we uh, transmit the workpiece over those wheels. A general example, very common example that we can give here is to resharp the single point cutting tool, or even though grinding, even though the drill tool can also be shoot, their tip can be uh, sharpened with the help of grinding machine, right? As in this picture you can observe the surface finish, very smooth and fine surface finish is achieved with the help of grinding machine, right? Now we have been coming across with one particular word, it is the abrasive. Now what is the abrasive actually is? Abrasives are nothing but the fine particles, very fine particles, generally uh, of shape, having the shape like a single particle of sand or even a single particle of sugar, right? If you could observe a single particle of sand, we will observe very minutely, then you will come across with the fine edges are present there, right? Those edges individually when come across in huge number, they can perform super finishing operation. That is why, as you can see here, there are two types of abrasive generally used. One of them is natural abrasive and another one is artificial or abrasive. The abrasive is the material employed for sharpening, grinding and polishing operations. Natural abrasive, they are emery, corundum, quartz, sandstone and even diamond is also used, right? Emery, it is a very fine particle wherein iron oxide is present up to certain extent. Corundum is another type of crystal which is extremely harder, and the quartz generally, sand particles are also called as quartz, but particular having some required edges over to each and every particle, right? Now artificial abrasives are carborundum, aloxite, alundum. Those are the abrasive particles which are engineered into labs, inculcating some physical properties into the abrasive particles. Now, those abrasive particles are later on adhered onto the wheel that we are going to discuss later on. Now, applications of the abrasive, we will see their physical property and the application of each and every type of abrasive particle that we have seen earlier. The corundum, first one, corundum is a natural mineral which consists of aluminium oxide. It is the hardest natural substance after diamond. As we can see here, uh, it is a form of aluminum oxide which is extremely tough, even in the range of diamond. After diamond, corundum uh, is plotted as the hardest material. It is used for shaping, finishing, and polishing other tools, right? As being the part of different types of cutting tool materials, we have seen several types of hardest material. Those are used to manufacture the cutting tools, right? Now we have prepared those hard material, but what about their resharpening? For resharpening those cutting tools, we must prepare some extremely hard material. In those consequence, we have prepared, we have um, discovered those types of abrasive particles. Next one is the emery. Emery, it is the natural abrasive consisting of aluminum oxide and little amount of iron oxide, right? Silicon carbide, it is the synthetic abrasive which is harder than aluminum oxide. It is generally used to grind metals like iron, brass, and soft bronze. It is used in non-metals like wood and leather industries also. Next one is the zirconia alumina. It is a mixture of zirconium oxide and aluminum oxide used in casting and foundry industries, right? Next one is the cubic boron nitride. It is also used to manufacture the single point cutting tool or drill tool, right? Those materials are also used as the abrasive particle for the grinding machine. It is made up of boron nitride with a cubic crystalline structure. We are changing its cubic, it is crystal structure by some alteration in the crystal structure. We can get such a hard material as the cubic boron nitride. It is used for hard coating material, right? Hard coating materials like the heat treated materials for the resharpening or the further requirement, further machining of those types of material, heat treated materials, we are using cubic boron nitride as the abrasive. And last, you can observe here, it is the diamond. Even though for cutting the diamond we must use the another form of diamond, right? Even though in the jewelry industries we observe the diamonds are being shaped into very peculiar shape, right? For those achievements we use diamond also, right? Now bonding material